Here we are live once again. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Today we're making Blender plugins with AI. I've already begun the process. I wanted to continue the process with you guys just to let you guys see how the process goes. I might just get absorbed into the AI programming sides of things and be on a roll, but hopefully I'll be able to look over and see some live chat going on so I could answer any questions or just chat with you. I've been trying the past half hour to try to find a way to get notifications whenever a chat message appears. Unfortunately, I couldn't find such an option. So this is one of the problems with live streaming I've run into. It's hard to keep an eye on when someone chats because I have my monitor over here or I can have my phone open. It doesn't matter because I'm oftentimes working on my main screen, which is right underneath where I'm looking right now, the webcam, and I don't have a chat on here. It's just my main program. Right now I got Blender open and I just can't see the chat unless I turn my head all the way over here or on my phone, and then I can't see anything. So again, I'm gonna do my best to just do some AI plugin programming for Blender. The plugin that I'm creating is a music motion plugin. It's called Music Motion, and the idea is to be able to create music visualizations very quickly with a bunch of different presets of different functions that will create different meshes within Blender to attach to things and do certain things that are attached to your music file. So the idea is import, let's say you have a 4-track of your song, you got your bass, your guitar, your drums, and vocals. So those are 4 different tracks. You would import each one of those tracks into Blender and choose one of the functions, and it would animate whatever's in your Blender scene based off of that function. So right now, for example, I'm working on these functions where I can open up a audio right here, audio file, and we can choose to adjust either the position, the rotation, or the scale, and we can go scale upwards or scale small, and that's what I'm working on right now. So for example, if I chose a bass drum hit and I chose apply scale small, each time the bass drum would hit, and let's say I chose a cube, I chose a default cube, I chose a bass drum hit, and I chose scale small, that means each time the bass drum hits, it's gonna scale that cube to be smaller, and then it'll go back to its original size once it's done. So it'll have like a pulse, click, 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 or we can go scale big so the cube stays at this size, and then when it hears the bass drum hit, it scales up. Click, click, click. So we use these ideas in combination with all sorts of different objects and different ways. Other than just scaling, we can apply it to the rotation or movement. So every time something makes a noise, it offsets to the side or it rotates a bit. And those are one of the functions that I have planned added. And these are like kind of the baseline functions for this plugin that I want to get going and working right now. And so far, I've already begun the process and we've made a lot of progress so far. But after this apply position, rotation, and scale, I want to add extra functions that will do things like generate a spline and attach your object to move along the spline. And then maybe incorporate things like geometry nodes where we can start generating grids with their objects that create just tons of things. And then as your camera's moving through this scene, you can have things affected in the grid that are scaling up and rotating, and things that are following certain paths, and all sorts of really cool opportunities here. And I want to make this system really easy to set up just really cool visualizations. That's my goal for this project. So okay, let me see where we're at. I'm using this program called Windsurf. This is my AI code editor that's going to be doing all the heavy lifting for me. I'm basically going to be sitting back just saying what I want to happen, and the code editor is going to help write that for me, and I'm going to feed back, and we're just going to kind of feedback and work with each other. And I'm just going to be using basically human language. I'm not going to be even touching the coding side of things. I'm just going to let it do its thing, because this is 2024 AI programming, new whole world here. Very exciting stuff. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let's see where we were last at. Um, I can't remember if I installed the last version, so I'm going to go ahead. I have to uninstall the version each time I get a new version working. And then I must delete the old ones. Let's see if this one's still in use. That one's still in use for some reason. Don't know why. I don't have it open anywhere. Very strange, but that's okay. I will go ahead and zip this. Boop. And I just found out a hotkey. It's not the hottest key because I still got to do a mouse click. I love hotkeys, but here, let me show you what it is. If I want to zip this folder really quick, usually I have to click on it, right click, and then go down to send to, and then compress zip folder, and then click again. Well, I just found out if I right click and then press N and then C, it automatically zips up the folder. So I still got to do the right click. Not the best hotkey, but it's like half a hotkey. It's something. So let's go ahead and install this Music Motion plugin. And we got that reinstalled. I'm gonna go ahead and make another cube. More cubes. This is gonna be our cube, our test cube right here. And let's see if we can apply our scale small. Nope. So the scale was the one I was having issues with before I started this stream. So that's going to be probably the biggest one that I'm going to be working on here. Let's see if the position's still working. So I'm going to apply a position, and we could see, yep, the cube is kind of jiggling back and forth to the audio file that I have loaded. And the same thing happens if I do apply rotation and apply that. You'll see it. Woo! It is wow. Um, so you can also control the intensity. Right now I have it maxed out at 10, so I'm just going to lower that to the default of 1. If I hit apply, we could see it's not wigging out as much. And we can increase the smoothing too. Let's see if that works. I haven't actually tested that yet. So let's apply the animation, and I think that looks a little smoother. Let me try turning down how much it's affecting it right now, and try that again. So that's just that's the intensity. I should maybe put intensity on there. But yeah, it's working. I could probably do something with the smoothness. Still doesn't seem like super smooth. That still seems kind of jittery to me. Um, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I'd rather get the scale working. So let's see if we can see. I've gotten the same apply scale animation has no attribute error before a few times. And I keep feeding it back to Windsurf, and it doesn't seem to be able to find it. So I'm just going to keep on trying and see what we can get Windsurf if it can actually catch the error. So I'll just say I'm still getting an error with the scale transform settings. And I'll paste that message right there. Oh, I forgot. It's funny. I've tried to have the YouTube chat screen over so I could see what's going on. And I ended up putting it over my other monitor so I couldn't even see it. And it got behind Blender. Okay, get back over here. That's hopefully good enough. All right, so while that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and just uninstall this. Yep. And, oops, guard helmet. That's my guard helmet 3D model I'm working on for a different project. It's Banana Next Gen, to be released tomorrow, by the way. I still got a few updates, last minute updates I got to do before I release it. Last minute, right? But that's okay. I'm having fun with creating these plugins at the moment. Oh, I zipped it up preemptively. Jumped the gun, so I still gotta wait. Okay. I've made several changes to fix the scale animation issue. Added proper module reloading, added import live for module reloading, added checks to reload modules when they change, wrap the scale animation call, try the scale animation again. Okay, let's try it again. So I'm gonna go ahead, right click here, hotkey NC, zip it up. We're gonna install plugin. It installed correctly. It's always a good sign. Let's go ahead and make ourselves another cube. More cubes. And let's go ahead and try the scale. Oh! Yes! Oh yeah. Wow. First time after starting the stream. I have pasted that same error over to windsurf. Probably close to 10 times, somewhere between like 7 to 10 times, I'd say. And it never did anything until now. Look at it go. Look at that cube go. That's a good cube. That is a good cube. So the scale up bit works. So let's try the scale small. Let's see if this one works. Oh, oh, beautiful. Mwah. Of course it does. Of course it does. Now the smoothing. Okay, now that I have the scale working, I feel like I could focus a little bit on that smoothing now, because I just wanted to get all the transforms down. Now we got position, rotation, and scale. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Okay, so now, yes, I'm just gonna say yes, it works. Fantastic job. Thank you. Always thank your AI. And then let's go, um, the smoothness doesn't seem as smooth as it could be for each transform option, position, rotation, scale. Can we get these all working a bit smoother? I think that's good. Focus on the smoothness. Gotta do some body drumming while we're waiting. Hopefully it doesn't sound too annoying out there, because my microphone is on my neck. Doesn't look like it's clipping though. Okay, changes, let's see. Added amplitude smoothing. New smooth amplitude method to blend between current and previous values. Smoothing factor 0.3 adjustable from -1. Okay. So we're gonna have a new input field called smooth amplitude. Interesting. Improved position animate. Added lerp for smoother motion. Added quadric easing for more natural motion. Smooth amplitude changes. Enhanced rotation. Yep, okay, so it just did it for all the transforms. We'll go ahead and accept those changes. We will uninstall this version. Yes, we will. And we will go ahead, delete that, and then zip this up. Whoops. Zip. It is zipped. Now we may install the plugin. Let us get another cube. Yes, more cubes. Okay, so let's just try apply scale big. Let's give this a try. Can't really tell if that's any smoother. I can't see if I turn the smoothing all the way down. Seems like the size changed with the smoothing. Ooh, oh, it's because I keep on stacking the animation on top. Interesting. So if I just keep on hitting apply, is it just going to keep getting bigger? Oh my God, it does. Oh, interesting. Well, let's delete that cube. Try another cube. Let's see how the rotation looks. Smoothing at 1, apply animation. Still seems kind of jittery. Still seems kind of jittery to me. Yeah, it sure is. Okay. So I'll ask it again. Let's see if we can get it smoother. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. Things are still seeming pretty jittery. Can we up the smoothness? So, okay, I need to think about what I'm going to be doing next after we get our smoothness. I think I want to do something with geometry nodes with a grid. I think. Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking we'll do. We'll do a grid next, and we'll have a function setting. So right now we have global setting, transform setting, animation setting, and camera setting. I think we'll have a function setting, and we'll have a preset list, a drop down to choose from, and the first one will be a grid. And within that grid, we can choose an effector item. So for example, let's say you have a bunch of cubes that are being affected by the camera within distance. So the camera starts to get close to the cube, and the cubes rotate and then they disappear. I think I think that's what I'm thinking I want. Yeah. And trying to get the UI to make sense too is going to be kind of tough. Track one. Interesting, these frequencies. Well, that's right. I can choose a different track right there. Okay, so windsurf, let's see how this smoothness works. I've made several major improvements to increase smoothness. Increased overall smoothing, raised smoothing factor from 0.3 to 0.7, added double pass smoothing for amplitude changes, added frame to frame state tracking. I don't even know what that is. I get the other ones that he's talking about. Added cubic easing. Okay, thought we did that last time. Or was that quadric easing? Reduced interpolation size 0.8 to 0.15, added frame to frame position tracking. Okay, let's try it out. Let's go ahead and uninstall this one. Yep. Delete the old version. Go ahead and right click on here. Gonna create a zip file. Gonna install the zip file. Okay. Let's go ahead and make a new cube. New cube right there. Yep. Let's try applying the animation. Oh, that's so much more smooth. Oh, that's infinitely smoother. So my smoothness is turned up all the way. Let me see what happens if I turn it all the way to 0. We should be like, oh, now it's too smooth. Look at that. Look at that option right here. So this cube at the bottom left, this one was an old version that had smoothing turned up all the way, and you could see it's pretty jittery. It's not very smooth. This one up here, top right, newest version, this one has smoothing turned all the way down within the parameter, but it's beyond too smooth. We got to fix that. I want to have the option to have it jittery if we want. So we have a scaling, uh, we could, I don't know how I would word that. We want it to be able to have that jitteriness or up to 1 being the smoothest value, but that's not what it's doing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and say uh, it's very smooth. I like how it looks when the smoothness value is set to 1. However, when I have the smoothing value set to 0, there should be no smoothing applied. Let's try that. We went from not smooth enough to too smooth. Okay, it did the smoothing update. Let's check it out. Oops, I keep opening up my guard helmet. It's Banana Guard. My game Banana Next Gen, I have Banana Guards, who are the main enemy protecting the king. However, they haven't had helmets. They're just like bananas. So today I finally made the helmet for the Banana Guards. Now they look a little bit more guardish. Okay, got that reinstalled. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a new cube. Go ahead and apply. Holy moly, why did it apply to those? Oh, that's weird. Oh, what's happening? What is happening? Let's delete all these cubes, because there's something funny going on here. Let's go ahead and make a new cube. Load our audio. Apply animation. Okay, that's better. So our smoothing is at 0, so it's pretty darn jittery. That's good. That's what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and set that to 1. Yeah, that's pretty darn smooth. I like the look of that. So let's go ahead and try like 0.5. Nice, and a little bit more jittery. Before I couldn't even like hardly tell a difference when I went from 1 to 0. So let's try this one. I'm starting to see some of that jitter back at 2.5. I like this value actually. I'll probably be using something like this for my projects because I don't want it too smooth and I don't want it too jittery. But this seems like a pretty good value. Okay, let's see if that works with the apply scale as well. Yeah, I think so. Let's turn the smoothing like off with the scale. Yeah, there's like no smoothing with that, which kind of looks pretty cool with it going so fast. That would be cool with maybe like a trail effect or some sort of blur or glow maybe, something like that. So you get the speed, but you don't have it so sharp looking. So I like that. I do. I'm a fan of the smoothing, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the position's working pretty good too. The well, the position does not. There we go. It it just doesn't move that much. I might have to increase the strength of the of that. Yeah, let's increase the strength of the position just a little bit. Great. The smoothing is at a fantastic position. Now, can we increase the strength of the position? That's right. Position, yeah. Okay. Okay, all right. And after this one, I'm gonna ask for the grid. Okay, let's try that one. Uninstall this one, yep. Delete. Zip this up. Go ahead and get that installed, and we'll go ahead and try out the position, see how that one's moving now. Apply position, apply. Delete this one. Hmm. It's still a pretty small position. Yeah, let's turn it up a bit more. So let's see, open diff. 2 insertions, 1 deletion. See, I've increased the maximum position displacement from 2 to 5. Can I just find 5? Let's try 15. Okay. I don't usually edit the code manually, but I mean, that was just editing one parameter. Let's see what happens. Delete this one, zip it up, go ahead and install. Go ahead and try our position again. Turn this all the way up. Let's see how much it's moving. Yeah, I mean, seems like it's moving a bit more, but I still feel like it needs to be much higher. So oh, that's right. We got to worry about the smoothment movement. So what I'm going to do is put it back to what it was and say, can we increase the strength of the apply position by 10, 15, 20, maybe 20, because it's barely going. And we can always turn it down too. Yeah, let's try 20. Okay, we've done it. Now all that's left is to test. And see, get that in the zip file, install from disk, load and apply. Yeah, you still don't see that. That doesn't seem like it's 20 times more. Certainly doesn't. So I can see max displacement 20. It raised it up to 20 so that it's much farther than it was. The apply position is still not moving very far. We need a much higher strength. Let's dramatically increase the position to 100 units. Okay, let's try it. If this isn't stronger, then I don't know what's going on. Delete that one. And see. Hotkey, get that zipped, uninstall, yes, reinstall from disk, yep. Gonna go ahead, load audio, apply animation. Oh, there we go. Now it's dramatic. We're on 10 right now, so that's like the max movement. So let's see what happens if we turn up the smoothing a bit. Oh, where'd you go? So let me make a new cube, try that on. Cube, load audio. Oh, maybe is that the smoothing that's making it disappear? Let me turn off the smoothing. Let's bring back cube. Try it again with no smoothing. So that's as far as it goes with no smoothing. Okay. Let me turn it down. The strength is at 10. Let me turn that 1. So now it's barely moving. Okay. Now let's turn the smoothing up a little bit. 0.2. Okay, we're still there. And it's definitely smoother. So then what happens if I turn this up to 5 on the strength? Whoa, it just like disappears. What is happening? Let me try that again on a fresh cube. Yeah, it still goes away. Where are you going? Okay, it's still way out there. It's man, that's crazy. The smoothing makes it go like super far. So what happens if I turn the smoothing down to 0.1? It still seems like it's going that far. So let me try something again. So if I turn the smoothing just off, is it gonna not go that far? Yeah, it doesn't go that far. That is so interesting. So the smoothing is actually making it go farther than it should. 0.005. Very small smooth. Let's it's crazy. So I'm just gonna try turning smoothing off again just so I can look at the graph editor. Okay. So I can make sure it is actually. Well, I'm a little concerned about the smoothing that it's doing because it really shouldn't be extending it. I mean, when you put on an ease smooth, it can extend it, but the problem is you would still see it going back down. Right now, these are up and down. That's exactly how it's supposed to be according to the audio. But as soon as I put on even just a little bit of smoothing, 0.001, all of a sudden, it just turns into an upward climb on the graph editor. How do I zoom in on this. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Look at this thing. Those are some stairs right there. That should not be how it is. Now I'm curious about the rotation too. So let's go ahead and put it on a cube again. Still got to debug with AI coding, but that's why I'm here. Let's go ahead and do the position or the rotation. Now the rotation doesn't seem to be working. I see something happening right there. It's going down. I think it's just such small increments. Now, I bet you that the scale's broken now too. Let's try it. Scale big, load audio, apply animation. Yeah, I wonder if adjusting those position values somehow affected the rotation and scale too, because I think that's about when it screwed up. Smooth factor, max displacement. So, oh, okay, let's see what happens now. Here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to turn off smoothing completely because I think it's the smoothing that's screwing stuff up. So if I do apply rotation, oops, I forgot to turn off smoothing. It's still 0.001. There we go. Yeah, that's rotating exactly how it's supposed to. Um, it seems something is off with the smoothing. Communicate this to AI right now. If I turn smoothing off, the object reacts accordingly to the audio. However, if any smoothing is introduced, the keyframes seem to have a more linear curve that always rises or lowers instead of returning to its state. Can we take a look at the smoothing for transforms again? Okay, see if we can get this smoothing working. I accept these changes. Try it now. You should see with smoother factor 0, immediate reactive movement. With smooth factor above 0, smooth movement that still follows the audio pattern. Yes. And 3, the object should properly return to its rest position between peaks instead of drifting. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds like what I want. Will it do it? That's a whole nother question. Delete this one. Music motion, hotkey NC, zip that up. Go ahead and install from zip. Grab that there. Make a new cube. Boop, boop. Let's try the rotation just with our smoothing set at 0. See how that works. Perfect, just like it did before. Let's go ahead and let's make another cube. In this one, let's turn up the smoothing to 0.1. Let's see how that handles 0.1 smoothing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're still climbing. We're still climbing. We're not getting back our zigzag pattern. Nope, that ain't good. I assume the same's for well, the position actually seemed to work. Let me check on a new cube. We're on position here, smoothing set to 1. Yeah, it's doing the zigzags. That's what we want. It's good for the position. Let's do a new cube and try the scale. Let's go scale big, load audio, apply animation. Yeah, this one looks like it's just getting bigger. That is not what we want. Okay, so the position seems to be following the audio even when smoothing is introduced. However, the rotation and scale seem to still be operating on a linear curve, not reacting to the audio directly. Let's try that. We'll go ahead and uninstall this. Yep. Stare at these guys. This animation I have going. Oh, I can probably delete. That doesn't need to be running. Close out of some of these programs. Okay. Let's see. I've made significant changes to both rotation and scale animations to match the direct audio reactive behavior we achieved with position. Rotation changes. Remove the complex rotation interpolation system. Now directly applies rotation based on the smoothed amplitude. Use quaternion rotation for smoother results. Maximum rotation set to 45 degrees for more controlled movement. Directly follows audio peaks and valleys. Let's try it out. Accept these changes, delete you, go ahead and create you. Yep. You know what to do. Summon ourselves a new cube. Let's try the scale. Oh, I don't see anything happening. Yeah, I'm not. That's nothing. It's a whole lot of nothing. So something that could be happening, we got to check this out, is it could just be making really, really small adjustments that we can't see. But I can't tell even when I'm zoomed in here. It looks like it's just the same. Doesn't look like it's doing anything different. Let's try the rotation, see how that one looks. Also not doing a thing. Try a new cube just to make sure. Rotation, load audio, apply animation, not doing anything. What happens if I turn the smoothing down? Does it work? No, it doesn't. Well, I guess we should also check the position. Hopefully it didn't touch that, but you never know. It might be intertwined into some system it made. Okay, the position's still working. That's good. Okay, so neither the scales or rotations are working now, with or without smoothness applied. And we got to get that fixed up again. We got to fix up our position and us. No, the position's good. We got to fix up our rotation and our scale. So we'll uninstall this. Just gonna look at some of these beautiful dancing cubes while we're sitting here waiting. try it now. Okay, let's do that. So we go ahead, delete the old version, zip up a new version, install the plugin, and make a new cube. Getting a lot of cubes on this screen. Let's try our rotation, smoothing set to 0. We still get nothing. Let's try our scale. We still get nothing. Try our position. Position still works. There is still no movement on the rotation or scale. Let's see how these functions are being called in the operator. Yes. Oh, that's weird. There I am. That was interesting. Like, it lost my face. I didn't think I moved the gimbal on the webcam, but hey, I'm back. Whoa, hey, come on, get right there. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and install this again by creating a zip file. Right click, create zip, uninstall, install from disk, open up that, apply rotation. Still nothing. We're getting nothing. I'm gonna delete all these cubes. That's too many cubes for me to look at. We gotta start fresh. Give me cube. Nothing. Okay, let's try scale. Not gonna have any faith here. Oh, that's interesting. You know, that's funny. So before I thought the scale was working perfectly, it actually wasn't because I have this transform setting which it's supposed to affect either only the Y, X, or Z, or a mixture of them both. And it wasn't doing that until just now. I noticed it's only scaling along the Y-axis, which I didn't even mention that it wasn't scaling correct on the Y-axis, but Windsurf caught that for me. Thank you, AI buddy. I appreciate that. Now, if we could just get position working, that'd be great. I should check out the smoothing here on the scale now that the scale seems like it's working. Yes, that's nice. That is looking like it's working properly. Just for fun, I'm going to try X and Y scale. Yep. Ah, that's awesome. Perfect. Cool. Couldn't be happier with the scale. Now for the rotation. Okay. We're still having issues with that, so now we can just focus on that. Hopefully get that one working. So I'll say excellent. The scale is now working, and you even noticed that the scale was not using. I'm having a brain fart. What's it called when YouTube is not what? Oh, what's going on here? Oh. It's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, videos will experience buffering. Oh, yeah. That's not too unnormal. As long as it's still going. That's the important thing. So what's it called? Axis? I think that's the word I'm looking for. X, Y, and Z, those are all axis. That's what I'm trying to say. We're not using the correct axis to scale on. You even noticed that the scale was not using the correct axis to scale on, but you fixed it, and now the position and scale are working great, both with smoothing. Gotta let AI know it's working great. Thank you. Now the rotation still needs work, as the rotation does not rotate at all. Okay, got those fixes. Let's check it out. Install this one. Yep. Go package up the other one right here. Delete the old one. Right click, send to zip. Install from zip. Let's check out the rotation. Still no movement. Still no movement. Scale. Yeah, scale still works. That's good. The rotation is still not working. It's still not working on the rotation. I'm going to check something right here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and make a cube, apply rotation, see the keyframes it makes. I'm just going to scale them up. Can I scale them up? That's actual scale. I don't want to actually scale it up. I just want to scale the keyframes of the rotation up. So can I just select rotation? Hide all these other guys. I don't want scale. No, thank you. Scale Y. Scale Y? Yeah, I don't think it's scaling up. I don't think so. I was just curious because oftentimes just the values are wrong. It needs to be an increased value, but that doesn't seem like what's going on in here. So I'll let it know that. I'll let the AI know it's still not working on the rotation. I thought maybe the values were too small. However, I tried to scale up the keyframes in the graph editor and still could not see any changes. So there must be something else going on. We had it earlier. Let's try again to get that rotation working. Smiley face. Why not? Try it now. The rotation should be much more noticeable. Well, since I couldn't notice it all before, I hope so. I hope I can notice anything happening. Really. Let's go ahead and install from disk. Motion, yep. Apply rotation, load audio, apply animation. Nope, nothing. You said it should, but it is not. I'll try a new cube just to make sure, even though I don't think it should matter, especially if I see my cube up on the screen. Yeah, nothing happened. Oh, let's try turning smoothing down. We don't even know, it might be a smoothing issue still. I'll just leave the smoothing off for now. Nope. So we'll say, nope, still no luck. rotation. Let's check how the rotation is being called in the operator and make sure everything is connected properly. Let me see the operator code again. Okay, let me try a completely different approach to rotation animations. You know, at this point, I'm up for it. I've completely revised the rotation animation using rotation matrices instead of direct Euler angle modification, doubled the strength multiplier to 20, increased, I don't think you need to increase it so much, but since nothing was working, I mean, we'll see how it works. Now using mathutils.matrix.rotation for proper rotation creation, combining rotations using matrix multiplication, much larger rotation range, proper handling of multi-axis rotation. Try it now. Man, this shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, with the driver, I just hook it up to the curve, and I say, okay, adjust the x-axis, and if I want more, I just multiply it by more. It's that simple. But that's okay. As long as it works, I don't really care. That's the most important part. Boop. Reinstall this. Install from disk. Rotation, load animation, apply animation. And what do you know? It's still not working. Try a different axis just for fun. Nope. Try position. See if that does it. Yeah, position works. That's fine. So you know what we'll do? So we'll just try again. That's what we'll do. So uninstall, yep. Go back to windsurf. Still not getting any rotation. I've made several changes, added extensive debug prints to see what's happening at each step, massively increased the rotation. He just keeps on increasing that rotation. So hopefully with the debug it added, it'll be able to find out what's going on here. Because, yeah, sometimes we'll get stuck in these loops where things just aren't working. Go install from disk. Go ahead and make a new cube. Oops, I'm still on apply position. My bad, apply rotation. I saw some movement. I got excited for a second, but it wasn't the right thing. Um, yeah, I'm not getting any errors, so I guess I was hoping I'd get some sort of debug when I ran it, but I didn't. So let's see what we got going on here. The debug prints will show us what axis is being used, the amplitude. Yeah, I didn't see any debug prints. Let's go to chat here. I'm just going to ask, where do I find debug prints? I don't see anything in the console. I would assume it would be in the console, but maybe it's in a different place. Ah, that's a key piece of information. If we're not seeing any debug prints, it means the rotation function isn't being called at all. Oh, let's check the operator code where it should be calling the rotation function. Error, model wasn't aligned with the objectives. Let's try something else. Okay. File has been modified. Cannot apply contents. Okay, you are back in write mode. Let's make sure you adjusted calling that function correctly. It's interesting. They have a chat mode and a write mode, but every time I go to chat just to ask a question, it always wants to do a change, but then it doesn't seem like the change goes through. Maybe it does. I'm just not understanding it correctly, which is totally possible. I see what's happening. The issue is with the first keyframe. Let's add something more to debug the prints and then fix the keyframe insertion. Added import math on top of the debug printing, rotation values in degrees. More debug prints to track. I mean, if you found out it wasn't calling the function, hopefully you don't even need all these debugs. But I guess they're there anyways, just in case. Okay, zip up the new plugin. Let's install it. It looked like it was thinking for a minute. But alas, nothing. Try it again, load audio, apply animation. It's thinking. It was thinking. Yeah, when I apply animation, there's nothing that happens in this console view. Very interesting. Nothing showing in the console and still no rotation. That's a bummer because the rotation was working earlier. It was working great. And now it's not. Added import math at the top of the file. Change the rotation application to be additive instead of absolute. I feel like having it additive was a problem before because things just kept on increasing along a linear curve as opposed to going back down. But you know what? Let's give it a shot. What else are we going to do? Delete this one. Zip this one up. Uninstall the old one. Yep. Install from disk. Music motion 2. There we go. And let's apply some rotation. I don't know if it's just spinning. It could just be spinning. It's going so fast and crazy. But I just like seeing movement because I haven't seen any movement for so long. Let's go like 0.1 for this maybe. Oh, that's crazy. Let's see what happens if I add a little smoothing. 0.1 on the smoothing. Whoa! Oh, it's way up there. Oh, that's... I don't know if that doesn't seem right. Turn down the smoothing. Let's try 0.01 on the strength. Okay, let's try. That still seems like it's pretty high and intense. Let's try 0.001. Audio. Ah, so it is working. Let me turn up the smoothing a bit now, 0.1. It's like nothing's happening. 0.001. Yeah, I can't tell. Did it just completely kill it? Let's add a few more zeros in there. The scale is obviously completely whack. Although it seems when I have any sort of smoothing, it's doing that thing again where it's just annihilating any of the animation. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back, windsurf, let know the rotation's working again. Yay! The rotation is working again. Fantastic. However, the scale is huge. What did I have to divide that by? 0.001, is that what I had it at? Let me see. Yeah, so let's divide it by 100. Divide it by 100. Also, any smoothing on the rotation kills any animation. Okay. Getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Yes, we are. Oh, someone said something. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been checking. Pandaros, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know what we're yes siring about, but I agree. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining the club, Pandaros. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. I should look at that closer. Pandaros? Pandaros? Pandaros. Okay, we have a change here. Let's go ahead and delete this. Let's package this up again. There we have our zip file. Let us uninstall the old one and install the new one. And let's check out the rotation. Do we have, okay. Should be very small, that because we told it to be smaller, so let's increase our strength back up to 1. It was at 0.01. There we go. We got our movement. And do we even have smoothing? Okay, let's try smoothing. Here's the real test. The smoothing seems to screw everything up. Is that smoother? I can't tell. Let's turn it up a little bit more. 0.5 maybe? It's interesting. It definitely affected it. I don't know if I would call it smoother. I mean, it does seem a bit smoother. Let me just put it to 1. Let's see what 1 does to it. Oh. Oh my. That killed it all. Or 0.8 right here. That's interesting. Okay. Well, I think that it's probably a good amount of smooth for now. I mean, at least it's working. Let's double check the position, make sure all this stuff's working. Yep, position's working. Scale big. Yes. Oh, yes. Let's just do this to all of them. Woo! How exciting. It's scaling, it's moving. This is what I'm talking about. Just have a bunch of these filling up the scenes. Perfect. A little stretch here. Yeah. Ooh. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Okay, so now we have the transform settings working pretty well. Position works, rotation works, scale big and small works. You could set the axis you want it to transform on. That's pretty good. So let's work on a new section now. Excellent. Rotation is now working with smoothness. I'll just say working because we might come back to that smoothness. Now let's add a new section called the function section, which will have a drop down of various function presets to choose from. In this section, we should also have the option to click, choose an object within the scene by typing or eyeglass dropper to use as an effector for the presets that will exist within the functions. Woo! It's hard to word. Okay. We'll make sure I got this right. Excellent. The rotation is now working. Now let's add a new section called function section. Or let's call it functions. How about that? Called functions, which will have a drop-down of various function presets to choose from. In the section, we should also have the option to click and choose an object within the scene by typing or eyeglass dropper, eyedropper. I don't think it's called eyeglass dropper. I think it's just called eyedropper. Eyedropper to use as an effector for the presets. Various presets that will exist within the functions. Okay, the first function will be grid. Okay, so here's the dilemma that I need to figure out how to make work for the UI. What I want in the functions section is, again, the option to choose from a function. So we're going to make a grid right now, which takes your object selected and populates it over a grid. And I need certain options. Maybe I should just make an options section as well. Function options settings. And each preset will have different options associated with that function. I hope that can work. I think if I choose one function from the preset, it's going to make a whole different list of options show up for each function. And these functions are going to be where the real fun happens. We're going to be playing with geometry nodes and creating all sorts of arrays, lots of movement and lots of stuff happening on the screen is what these functions are going to help with. So, okay. So I'm not even going to say the first function right just yet because I want to describe that. Within the functions section, we should also have an options section contained within. These options should correlate to the specific function that is chosen within the function preset. In other words, each function is going to have its own set of options slash parameters that need to show up when it is chosen from the drop-down menu. Whew, okay. I think I worded that good. Good enough. Now we'll say the first function will be a grid generator, which will take the chosen mesh and spread it out over a grid. A generated grid within tree nodes. The options should include how big the grid should be, the space between each object, and the effector I need. So, okay, I wanted to include how big the grid is, the space between each object, and the effector should adjust the either the position, scale, rotation based on the distance the effector is, based on how close the effector is to the chosen mesh. Whew, okay. We can go over this because this is an important prompt right here. These options should correlate to the specific function that is chosen within the function preset. In other words, each function is going to have its own set of options slash parameters that need to show up when it's chosen from the drop-down menu. The first function will be a grid generator, which will take the chosen mesh and spread it out over a generated grid within a newly spawned mesh that uses geometry nodes. The option should include how big the grid should be, the space between each object, and the effector should adjust either the position, scale, rotation based on how close the effector is to the chosen mesh. Okay. That's about all my brain can handle for a prompt right now. I'll help you with the function section with the grid generator. We'll need to add new properties for the function section, create a new panel for functions, add geometry nodes set up for the grid generator, create handlers for the effector influence. First, let's add the new properties. I've created a complete function section with function properties, function preset dropdown, currently only grid generator, effector object selector with eyedropper, grid generator options, grid size x and y, grid spacing, effector radius, vector strength, vector fall off, vector influence, geometry node setups creates a grid, instance objects, calculates distance, applies fall off, distance to effector. Okay, let's see how this works, I guess. Delete this one, package this one up, and C, our favorite hotkey. Uninstall, yep. Oops, didn't hit OK. Install. Ooh, look at this. We have a new section, grid generator. So I'm going to go ahead and let's try making Suzanne the monkey. And let's try the effector, will be this cube. Grid size 5, 5, grid spacing 2. Radius strength, smooth position. Oh, there it is, effector, position, rotation, scale, all. Oh, that's cool, you can choose all. Oh, getting an error here. Didn't like that one. Line 60 and create grid nodes. Node group inputs.new. Well, object has no attribute inputs. I'm getting the following error. Whoa. Why is the camera going up and down? What you doing, buddy? The heck is the camera doing? That's weird. Shouldn't be doing that. Stop it. Stop. Stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it. That's so weird. Doesn't want to. Oh, it's on tracking. No wonder why. I don't really want it to be tracking. There we go. Don't know how it got onto tracking mode. That's okay. Okay, so let's see. Selection objects. Let's try it out. Music motion. Send you to a zip. Let's uninstall ya. Let's reinstall ya. Choose Suzanne the monkey. Instant. Oh, what's this? Instance. I don't know what this one is. Instance. What did it make here? Instance object. What happens if I just click Suzanne again? Yep. I'm getting the following error. Go ahead and uninstall that while we're here. Updated Use vector math to calculate the distance. Geometry node point distance. I mean, geometry nodes has a distance node, but maybe this AI is just not aware of that. Send this to zip. Install from disk. Did it generate it? I'm seeing grids over here. But I'm not actually seeing grids. What's the scale at? I remember that was an issue before. The scale kept on getting set to 0. No. Nope, 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 nope. No more errors in console. However, the grid that spawns I cannot see. Also, explain what the instances field is for. The instance object field is where you select the object that you want to be repeated across the grid. For example, if you want a grid of cubes, you select the cube in this field. If you want a grid of custom model, then you'd select that model. The grid will copy instances of whatever you choose. Okay, that's interesting that originally for the other sections of the plugin, you have to have the objects you want selected, and whatever you have selected and hit apply, it will apply it to those. But now it's telling me instead of just having it selected, you gotta go reselect it with the eyedropper that we made. It's interesting. Interesting choice. Okay, let's try this new version here. Send this on over to a zip file. We'll uninstall this one. Yes, we will. We'll install this from a zip. We're back up and running. So now let's go ahead and open it up. And let's go ahead and hit generate grid. Oh, we're getting some errors again. Make sure I don't have to have one of these selected. Nope. Is this still generating a grid? Yeah, it's still generating a grid even though I'm getting an error. I'm just going to post this error in here. Boop. There you go. Delete these grids. We don't need these. They're filled with nothing apparently. What do you do with the grid that has nothing in it? You delete it. Ah, the position node only has one output. Let's fix that position handling. Yes, let us do that. You should now see a grid of instances appear above the ground plane. Let me know if you need any adjustments. I'll let you know if it works. I will definitely do that. And see, uninstall. Yes, we will. Install. Get the new version in there. Generate grid. Oh, no errors again. That's a good thing. But can I see the grid? I certainly cannot. I certainly cannot. Okay. Well, just making sure the scale is set to 1. Yes, it is. Let's check out the geometry node setup. Oh, look at this. Whoa, invalid link. Instance on point. Selection instance. Oh, okay. I'm seeing an issue here. I can see in the geo nodes that the instance object from group input is going to the selection input on instance on points, which is creating an invalid link. it should go to the input on it in instance input. It should go to the instance input. Okay, there we go. Look at that, I'm helping AI out. AI helps me, I help AI. We're really helping each other get this plugin up and running. Yeah, the reason I'm actually making this plugin to begin with is so I can use it for my own music. Obviously for other people too. I want people to be able to make their own content quicker, but if I can create some really cool visuals using Blender relatively quickly using a plugin like this, that's going to be great. And just being able to have all sorts of random moving objects in certain ways that sync up to the music, I think is going to be really cool once this gets a few functions that are nice and fleshed out. Oh, so I should probably go and reset the plugin. We'll go ahead and make a zip file as we always do. Uninstall, install, and we'll get rid of that grid. And we'll try it again. Go ahead and generate. Where are you, grid? Invalid. Oh, is it still not working? Why isn't it working? Invalid link. Conversions are not supported. Object geometry. Where? Okay. Actually, the info should be the one feeding the instance to the instance on points, not the group input. Fix that and check to see if you think it should be working. Okay. Actually, the object info should be the one feeding the instance to the instance on points, not the group input. Fix that, double check to see if you think it should be working. Ah yes, we need another object info node for the instance object. Let me fix that. So, okay, so that is supposed to be the effector. So yeah, they need a second object info node. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. So this one was actually on the effector before. This one right here. And that's good. I hooked up the geometry thinking it meant to make this the instance object, but nope, it needs both. So we'll see if that'll work. Uninstall that one. Delete this. Go ahead and recreate another zip file. Oh, I might be jumping the gun again. Let me hold up. Got to make sure it's actually done writing. Okay. Added a dedicated object info node for the instance object. Made sure both object nodes are in the relative transform space. Okay. Let's try this. Install from disk. Go to generate grid. No errors in here. That's good. But I still am not seeing a grid. Position. Still do not see any grid. Let's debug this by simplifying the node setup first to make sure the basic grid works, then adding back in the complexity. Sounds good. Let's do that. So we're just going to be making a simple grid here. See how that works. And look at that, still no grid working. Let's check out the geometry node, see what's going on here. Instance grid. The debug, let's see, run the grid generator. The debug print should help us see what values are being used. Let me know what the console outputs. If you don't see a grid, then we can adjust the setup based on that information. Yeah, I don't think it created anything in the console. No, it surely didn't. Instances, yeah, so there should be a mesh on every single point, but there's no points. Nothing in the console and no grid still. I said noting in the console. I meant to say nothing. Nothing in the console. Let's see if the operator is even being called. Let's verify the UI. Yeah, I could see it in the geometry node. It's creating something. I see the issue. We need to add function section to the UI panel so users can actually access the grid generator. Let's access that. Oh, that wasn't an issue before. It certainly was not, so I have a feeling this still ain't gonna work. Because that doesn't seem like what was happening at all. But we'll still try it. Well, that's why we're here. Here to debug. Let's go ahead and generate. Oh, where'd it go? Ah. I don't like how I put my functions at the top. Let me take a picture of the node setup. I don't know if this is going to help. I mean, it should have access to the code, so it should have better of an idea than this picture, but I'll still send it. And I'll say I liked the track settings on the top. And here is an image of geo node setup. Still no grid, by the way. Okay. Same thing, delete the old one, right click, create our zip, delete the old file, uninstall, yep, install from disk, install this one, it's good. The track settings still didn't get put back on top, not too happy about that. Getting this error. Track settings are still not on top. Now getting this error with the grid. First, let's fix the grid node input name. Should be size X and size Y. Let's try it out. We got our latest update. Music motion, send zip. Uninstall. Install from disk. Oops. Install. Our track's back up on top. Our functions here, generate grid. Still no grid. I mean, what do we need to do to get a grid to show up here? Grid, instance on points, join mesh, join geometry, put the instance on points. I want to see the grid. Let me make a new grid here. Since this one, whoa, is that the problem? It's just super small. I see it. I see the grid. Whoa, that's a lot of vertices. Okay, size. So then how come the instance object isn't being... Oh, I never chose an instance object. That's weird. Oh, there's all the Suzannes. That's working. Oh. Okay, so I found out two problems. Okay, the grid is now being created. However, it's very small. It should default to 5 by 5. Also, the instance object is not actually chosen within the geometry nodes. Fix these. Fix these two things, and I guess we'll just start with that. I don't want to start bringing in the other functions just yet until we get that working. Change the default grid size to 5 by 5, increase default spacing, fix the instance object connection inside the geometry nodes. Okay, let's check it out. Interesting. Tried deleting all these grids again that didn't actually spawn. Try again. Grid generator, Suzanne, vector, cube. Yeah. It should be the ticket. But unfortunately it's not. It's not the ticket. Vertices spacing. It's interesting that Suzanne seems like she's getting tons of geometry on her. But I wanted to instance this over a grid. I didn't want Suzanne to be the grid. Object. Oh, does it need to be original? Ooh, look at that. Okay. Getting somewhere. So let's try this again. The properties are not updating in the modifier options after generating the grid. For spacing, we should separate the vector into two so we can control the x and y spacing separately. Sorry, I'm getting a text from someone. Someone's asking if I'm around. What's up? I'd have to call off the stream here in a moment, see what's going on here. I'm starting to run low on on juice anyways. Might be a good time to call it. You know what? I'm gonna call my buddy. I'm gonna continue this project. It's gonna take a little bit to get these functions going. Probably, hopefully see it within a couple weeks on the Blender Marketplace if I keep up the pace that I'm doing now. But I gotta finish up my game Banana Next Gen. I got a few more edits I gotta do before I release that one tomorrow. A lot of stuff on the plate. A lot of busy Christmas stuff. So take it easy. Thanks for joining. If you're watching this later, welcome to the party. We're making fun plugins and doing all sorts of crazy stuff here. Adios and ciao.